The echoes of his music, they're still binding all our wrongs. He sings for homeless children, he sings for human rights. And I thought I heard sweet Victor singing in the night. Don't give up, don't give up.
It's 35 years since Chile's 9/11, and I find people demonstrating on the streets of Santiago. And here, next to the Moneda Palace, Salvador Allende has returned. He'd now be 100, and Victor Jara will be 76. Exploring 21st century Santiago by car, it seems like a vast gated community, the product of too much neoliberalism. So to find out if there's more to today's Chile, I head to the Victor Jara Foundation. Tony set up a meeting with Joan Jara, and she tells us about how Victor's work resonates years later.
So Victor is at home in working, people working for the environment, because he had a great sense of that. You know, I mean, the values that are present in his songs are universal values.
These universal values were certainly put to the test. The regime that banned Victor's songs tried to break the spirit of the people. Two of Tony's friends, Sonia and Javier, take us to see an example, the notorious Villa Grimaldi. It's now a park of peace, but it has a terrible past, and many of those responsible for places like this have still yet to be brought to account. But years of brutal dictatorship failed to silence the music and the values of people like Victor.
I mean, it's a sort of miracle, but it's one created by human beings, you know, who work to have found something in Victor's values, in his music and everything, which inspires them to do things.
Searching for that inspiration, Xavier takes us away from the consumerist gated world of Santiago to see the poblacion called La Victoria. One of Victor's last albums was based on research in this poor community, the kind of community that suffered greatly during and after the coup. La Victoria has survived as a vibrant place. It's recently elected a left-wing mayor. And the tradition of street murals used by a previous generation continues, but now there's community TV as well. And they're happy to broadcast our El Sueño film, the first time it's been shown on TV. I now have a copy of Joan's biography of Victor. Even better, she signed it for me. So as we head south to Chillán, I learn more about his remarkable life and the times in which he lived. We arrive just in time for the festival launch. This is the 10th festival, another opportunity to freely celebrate Victor's music, with Tony as the main act and another screening of our Welsh footage. Estrella and Eduardo are wonderful hosts, and with their friends and family they've done an enormous amount of organisation. It's great to be here. Chian is close enough for Tony to set up a meeting with the family of Angelita Wenneman. By now, I've read Joan's account of how Victor came here and found inspiration from this meeting.
That was the Wenneman place, but it's further down where Rita lives, so we're just walking down here. Me and Eduardo, mi gran amigo.
We're now far from the suburbs of Santiago, and in the very place where Victor wrote his famous song about Angelita, finding in her the anonymous hands of his own creative people. Part Mapuche himself, Victor had links to the largest indigenous community in Chile. We get to see one of their traditional homes called a ruca, where we learn about more than the past. In today's Chile, legislation from Pinochet times is being used in today's conflict over the commercial exploitation of Mapuche land. Repression is still very much here for Mapuche activists, though back in Chian, the police watch on as public sector unions march in the streets. It's time for the festival. Victor's image is there as Tony and dozens of Chilean musicians perform. And the huge audience welcomed Victor's daughter, Amanda.
Vamos y festejemos.
Heading back to Santiago, it's clear that Chile is still having difficulty coming to terms with its past.
Victor is supposed to be an emblematic case, which means he's representing many other cases. What happens to all those other cases if they close Victor's case?
It seems the fate of Victor, in a way, represents the result of 20 years of repression and 20 years of compromise.
Deepens this sense of alienation that many young people have, you know, who want to resort to violence, you know, that don't believe in how things are managed today, you know. And it is something which ought to have been sorted out 30 years ago.
I found that Chile is still a very divided society. A tragic past has still not been accounted for. Though military repression has gone, some of the Mapuche may not see it quite that way. But there has been change, bringing increased freedoms and the hope for the dreams of Victor Jara.
Don't give up, don't give up, don't give up the struggle now. On singing out for freedom, don't give up.